Emily. Good morning, everyone. Well, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to address you and to welcome you here to San Francisco. Let me begin by thanking Nancy and Emily for their leadership as well. Quite frankly, I think I'm a very lucky mayor. But I also want to say to this, just right off the start, you know, with the rise of many women on the Board of Supervisors, and I know Scott joins me in this as well, and with some of the fortunate appointments I've been able to make, I think that's the reason why we're at 3.8 unemployment in San Francisco. I think that's probably a great reason why we're not cutting any departments, and we've got a little, I never use the word surplus, but we have some revenues that we could really use. I think this is all coming together as a very neat story as to why more women have to be appointed. You know, I do think having a woman in charge of your budget, I call her the $8.7 billion lady in my office, and she's always making sure that we as an entire city are paying attention to the finances in a responsible way, and that's why I think we've been a successful city. It's just a way of saying thank you to all of you, because today I know your topic is more than just about government. And I think I've found easy ways to make appointments when I've got a lot of great foundations to do that. But in the private sector, it's very challenging. And I know the buzz in this room because I walked in, I went, where are my male counterparts? You know, I want to thank Charles Schwab first because he's allowed us to use his wonderful space. But there are businesses in the private sector that many of you are representing, and I want to encourage you to work with our city, take a look at all of the programs, the ways we're doing it, and there's tremendous flexibility. You don't have to start in the most challenging areas. You can really, what we say in government a lot, the low-hanging fruit, just workplace practices, ending barriers, the things that I've been doing a lot. And I was blessed when many years ago, when I was at the heart of male-dominated industry, I was the head of public works. And I had gender equity leaders come to me and goes, how would you like to lead the effort in this CDAW? And of course I said, what is CDAW? And of course immediately got educated around conversations at the United Nations, kind of even getting blessed with a worldwide perspective of what we had to do. And in the heart of the city's trades, skilled crafts of DPW, we kind of made a stake in the ground and says, yeah, if DPW can do this, any department of all 65 departments can do it. So we led the effort. I was glad to open up the doors and test the waters of the most thickest, skilled, male-dominated trades in San Francisco and begin to identify management, financial, skilled trades, and open up those trades to people. And you know, to this day, we still have challenges, but I will say that some of the best paying jobs, career paths, continue to be in construction, continue to be in public safety. We have to make more breakthroughs in information technology. And I challenge all of you to do your best to get these companies aboard with our government, because we have something to show. Right now, I think we boast in our government that half of our workforce is now women in city and county of San Francisco. We have 29,000 employees. That's kind of a huge employment. I think we're the largest employer, San Francisco. But also, when you look at the management and professional career positions we have, it is also split. But we have those areas, those pockets where we're working on, and this is what I've committed to for this year, is to work with our commission and our leaders, our city administrator, and some of the other, and certainly our Board of Supervisors, in taking a look at any further barriers that we have and implement workplace practices that are welcoming, that are friendly. I had a very clear opportunity to do that when then President David Chu initiated and got the board to pass, and I welcome signing the workplace friendly initiatives that will allow more of the companies to also take a look at, and that is supporting women in many roles, and also making sure that we don't have those barriers that oftentimes we don't think about. We think it's natural that we don't allow more family-friendly workplace scheduling to happen. That's very important. I think we're on the cusp of presenting to the rest of the nation, and certainly my other federal mayors. I am very excited to have them here in June, but I get to talk about things that we're doing here, cutting-edge stuff that will help them in their own economic pursuit. Many cities struggle, with their economic success. We have here a very lucky time, but there are ways to do it. There are ways to really empower a lot more women to be part of this effort, and I think that that's more than the secret. I think that that really is an ingredient to success. So I'm looking forward to this June, discussing with the mayors. I, of course, thank Anita for taking on that role and joining Emily and Nancy and others when they were in New York last year at the United Nations conference to challenge 100 other cities to make sure that they adopted these principles, do like I did, open up their minds. When you're in the heart of DPW, you just don't think about this until you're presented with, I think, an opportunity, and then you start seeing the results of this happen. And I think DPW is now one of the best performing departments in all of the city, and you should see the excitement that happens there when they're, and it's the hardest jobs. I mean, they're called upon to sweep, the streets, to deal with the public toilets, but the engineering, the construction, the heart of really success in infrastructure is at DPW, and I'm glad that they have made that turn. I joined with many of you in celebrating over 10 years of no domestic violent homicides in the city. It was interrupted, obviously, in a very sharp way last year. And it just reminds us how much more work that we have to do for women, for girls. I want to make sure that that's also on your mind as well. And certainly as we invite Super Bowl 50 to be here as well, we have an opportunity to make sure that we are on the leadership of preventing domestic violence, certainly with the sport of football and all the things that we've been confronted with in the media this last year present you and I with tremendous challenge in the arena of sports. But again, it's an opportunity to say to people, what are we doing here in San Francisco? How can we be a better model to the rest of the cities? The urban cities are where a lot of this has to happen. And I am so happy to welcome the state who's here. I know Nancy's got more roles to play, and she's going to be a great leader in that. I want to join our governor in having both mayors and governors across this country pay attention to this. And I know, you and I know, there's a buzz around the presidential elections. And I wouldn't be surprised if women took over this 2016 election for the presidency. I've had the very fortunate opportunity to be mentored by a lot of great women leaders. Senator Feinstein, Leader Pelosi, and now you see the rising star of Kamala Harris. I do have a great, strong partnership with Libby Schaaf. I have a great partnership with all the women leaders, and Scott and I often are exchanging information about the things that we have to do, and we're lucky to have strong women on our Board of Supervisors, and I'm very fortunate to have made the most recent appointment in District 3 with Julie Christensen. I know she's going to be very powerful in that district, but also as a very good complement to the leadership that is on our board. So a lot of good things happening, but we need to have the private sector with us. And more, you hear me talking about the public-private partnerships. This is another area that we can make great strides. And so I want to begin by saying, while we have good things happening, I'm going to depend upon you right here, you people in this room, working with me to demonstrate what we need to do in the private sector. I need more collaboration in the private sector. I need breakthroughs in information technology, in the trades. in the other areas where we don't have as good representation. In fact, there's a lot of disparities that are pretty profound in our technology division. And Kamala had a chance to talk with me as we talked about her rise, is how can we work? And we have a very good opportunity, because she told me very plainly, and I'm going to share this with you because I think it's an indication how dedicated she is to work with me and others. She says, don't necessarily use a lot of time with the CEOs of companies. What we ought to do is work on those venture capitalists, because it's the investors that have to make the commitment of the companies. And this is going to be our effort here in San Francisco. We're going to work with those very investors. And it could be the Charles Schwabs, it could be the Mark Benioffs, it could very well be the Ron Conways of the world that help us transform the policies in these companies, make sure our women and girls get equity, get opportunity, because when they do, then you'll see the success that their companies can enjoy, just as ours in the city has. Thank you very much for your participation. Let's get out there, let's get more work, and I hope to join you in October when we have the summit again to celebrate CEDAW and to get aboard on a national, if not international, conversation. Thank you very much.